We've still got a few people logging in, that's good to see. There's quite a few people live. While we're waiting for others to log in, just type in the chat box there where you're logged in from. Had a few people email me today and say, sorry, I'm in Canada or California or other countries, and it'll be 2 a.m. and I can't make it. Yeah, but just while waiting, just type in the chat box where you're from. And we'll get started shortly. Can everyone hear me all good? Yep. Wellington, New Zealand, South Africa, Melbourne, Queensland, Victoria, Brisbane, Victoria, New South Wales, Southeast Queensland, Berry, New South Wales. That's a nice spot. I like Berry. South Africa, Donnybrook, Southwest Australia, New South Wales, Canberra, Spalding, South Australia. I have not been there. Turkey, Alabama, West Gippsland. G'day, Lou. That's Lou from West Gippsland. If you want some good accommodation near the snow, go see Lou. He's a funny guy. Okay, we better get started. Otherwise, I'll look at all these people that I know and say g'day. But hello to everyone, and welcome to this webinar. I'm actually really excited for a few reasons, and I'll cover a bit more tonight. I haven't done this webinar in 11 months. So I was probably for the last 6 months, I'm like, I should do that again. And I've finally got round to it. So yeah, so this is it. Getting started with 450 laying hens. And what I'll do now, just to, let's see if you can see me. No, well, I can't see, maybe not. Anyway, I'll do that a bit later. Oh, good. Well, there we go. I do have it all working. To start with, as we need to do these days with legal stuff, the information I'm going to share is general information only. Before making any financial or investment decisions, we recommend you consult a financial planner that can take into account your personal financial situation. The information is not legal advice. I'm not a lawyer. I am not an accountant. I'm just sharing some cool farming techniques with you, so hopefully it'll be good. We've still got a few more people coming in from all over the place. Italy. Hey, I haven't visited Italy yet, but I'm keen to. Anyway, if you're joining us, we're just getting started. I am Daniel O'Brien, and I will be the person presenting to you. So that's me. And just hang on one tick. I'll just see. Can you see me, everyone? This is me. Hello. I'm Daniel. I actually am a real person. I am here on Tuesday night at 7:35. I'm here. I'm live. So welcome. And oh, you can see me. That's good. Okay. So just so you know, so if you're watching, I sort of look I look like a bit of a radio announcer. This is because we've got a podcast coming out. So we're going to be interviewing people over the next few months. And the headphones is just so I can hear my voice, and also so you guys don't hear ding, 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 ding when everyone makes a comment or I get alerts or whatever. So I look like a bit of a radio guy. But just to let you know, I am a real person. I'm here. So that's all good. I'll go back to other things now so you can watch that. So Daniel O'Brien, that's me. I'm a real person. A bit about me. I'm married to Jody, that's my wife, and that's my son Benson. He is about 19 months now, so that photo was taken a while ago. And we've got another baby on the way in 3 weeks from now. So if you're trying to get hold of me in 3 weeks from now, I'm probably not going to be available because we'll have a new baby. So that's pretty cool. Okay, a bit about me. 15 plus years ago, this was me. I was the kid that would dig up some of mum and dad's front grass, sort of lawn. They were on rural acreage, so it wasn't actually their front lawn. But I was the guy. I'd dig up the grass and plant corn. I didn't have much fashion sense back then, so I'm probably not the guy to come to for fashion sense with those brown jeans and a hat that, I don't know, I was trying to look like a sailor or something. But that's me, digging up a bit of dirt, planting some corn, just wanted to produce food or grow something, or yeah, I don't know if the passion was for sustainability or I just loved growing stuff or like watching it grow. But that was me. I was just out and about going, what can I grow? What can I eat? That's me. Obviously, I've only got one shirt back then. See that? Same shirt. Holding a chicken. That's Wally the rooster. He was one of the first lot of chooks I got. He was meant to be a hen, but didn't turn out to be a hen. So he didn't lay many eggs, so he was not very profitable. When I was about 15, I started this business called Hastings Hatchery. That logo was done by Mum on Microsoft Publisher. And I bought these few incubators and I started putting fertile eggs in them and hatching them. And it was great fun, just hatching eggs. I'd hatch out, I don't know, 30, 40 or 50 sort of every couple of weeks. So I got started in chickens quite young. And if you can see by that picture, see all those incubators are plugged into a power point. Obviously back then I didn't know about power boards because I think they're just double adapters on double adapters. So I could teach you heaps of things I'm not good at. So there's probably a Sparky watching this going and absolutely cringing, going, that's just a fire hazard waiting to happen. So that's your first tip. Just use a power board, or yeah, don't use double adapters on top of each other. Anyway, that's me with three. Well, they're the incubators full of eggs. I was probably 15 at that time. And then I was selling chickens at the farmer's market, and then people would say, oh, what about, like, where am I going to put them? So I thought I better make a coop. So I made these coops. They've got PVC at the bottom, and they've got some poly pipe, which is hooped over and covered in mesh. You're quite feel free to take that design and sell them at farmers markets. One of our clients, their son did this in Maleny in Queensland, and he's making heaps of money, and he's like 12 or 13 years of age, but he's smarter than I am. He's got his dad, I think, still to this day building them, so he's not even building them. Brilliant, genius entrepreneur. So anyway, that was me. I'd go to farmers markets and put all chickens in some cages and little bags of food and sell them off. And there's a picture of Mum and Dad's place. There's one of the cages, and look at all the just beautiful green grass. That's because chook manure. Yeah, and if you look out where that green grass is, I'm not sure if you can see my mouse on the screen. You probably can. See that line there? That's basically where I took the chooks to, and then I'd sort of turn around and bring them back. So you see how green that grass is there? And then you see this sort of seed head, sort of rubbishy stuff. That's where the chooks aren't. Now, we've got a lot of clients that will get chickens just for this reason, because they want their grass looking like this, nice knee high, and get rid of this, I suppose, marginal land or not good country. Along the way, when I was a bit older, I had the privilege of working on some other farms. So this particular farm here, this is Organic Ways Farm in Comboyne, New South Wales. Back in the day, there was only a handful of genuine pastured egg farms, what I call genuine. And I call them genuine because they've got movable sheds. So these things off in the distance here, I think I've got another one that's a bit closer up. These are movable sheds. Now, they're pretty rough. I learnt a lot of things from this farm of what not to do, but the general concept, I can't argue with it. Like, they're chickens in a shed and the shed moves around. It just works. I haven't found a farm that has successfully developed a free-range egg farm from a stationary shed where the chooks run out this side and that side, and then they sort of fence it off. I haven't seen it done yet in commercial volume. Let's just say that. I've seen it done with 4 chickens because they won't eat it out. But when you go over like 100 chickens, very, very hard to do. So movable sheds, it's the way to go. If you're taking notes and you don't know anything about chicken farming, if you want good quality pastured grass-fed chickens, movable shed. When I was a bit older, I started this particular farm. I had a dream. I wanted to start a certified organic free-range egg farm. So I didn't have a farm, so I knocked on the door of an organic dairy farmer. I said, I've got this concept. I've got movable sheds we'll make. I didn't have a clue how I'd make them, and want to start an egg farm. So this is what I called it, Ox Hill Organic Eggs, still going today. That's a picture of me and my brother. My brother on the picture of the left there, and making some movable sheds. This was 5 or 6 years ago, and that was the manufacturing bay that we made them in. That's like a double carport at Mum and Dad's place. He was pretty mechanical. I just sort of knew what I wanted. I said, I want something that's going to be user friendly, and I'd rather spend the money on technology, so I'm not spending it on wages for the next 10 years, because that's what I found with that farm I worked at. I had to collect the eggs up to 3, even 4 or 5 times a day if it was wet weather, because it just wasn't a good system, because if you didn't do that, you'd have dirty eggs, which we'll come to later. Here are some pictures of Ox Hill Organics Farm. Here's me feeding the baby chickens. So we got them at day old. And when we developed this thing, what we call a chicken caravan, this was the very first one. It's about 8 meters long, 2.5 meters wide, with a single axle, and it's got some nesting boxes and perches. This unit is still going today. We've made a lot of changes to it, and there's a lot of things on it I would never do again, but that's what you do when you first start out. You make mistakes, and we made heaps of them. Don't worry about that, heaps of mistakes. That's it there. It's got 3 big doors up top and then 3 little doors down the bottom, and then on both sides. So you've got sort of 12 doors, and we realized later you didn't need so many doors on this thing. And it's got a man door, so it's got 13 doors. It's probably got more doors than like most people's houses. And you can't really see it in this picture, but it's got some nesting boxes in up under those doors. But this is what we made. We thought we want a mobile chicken shed, and we came up with a design and made one. And for us, because we were expanding, we needed to make more than one of them. So after a while, we made a few more. There's a picture of me, some eggs. There's some little chickens jumping in one of the sheds. So eventually, because we needed to make some more, we rented this little workshop, and we continually developed the chicken caravan. And always from the last one we made, we're like, oh, we'll do that differently, or we'll never do that again. And we developed what we have today, being the Chicken Caravan 450. And still to this day, 5 years on, we're still like developing things, and we've got some new technology coming out on the latest models. But that's how we developed the Chicken Caravan. We just started out as chicken farmers, and we wanted something for ourselves, and a few other farmers said, hey, would you sell this? And we're like, yeah, not really, but okay, we'll think about it. 2012, this wasn't something we were planning on. Someone said, oh, there's this farm invention thing. And we're like, okay. And it's for farming implements or tools and that, inventions that sort of help the farming industry. So I sort of I took one of these things, one of the caravans out to Orange New South Wales. They had a field day. I don't know, it was probably a 6-hour drive or longer. I thought, if nothing else, I'll get a bit of exposure, might sell one. I wasn't thinking that we'd win the regionals and then the following days win the national farm invention of the year. So that's what happened in 2012. And it was a real honor just to be recognized by other people in the industry that said, this is a good product, because up till then we'd sold a couple of them and really used them ourselves. But to have people that are on farms every day and seeing a lot of different products and them judging, saying this is a real goer, it was just it was a real honor. Since then, we've worked with heaps of farms. We've worked with farms New South Wales, Victoria, and then we sold some caravans over to WA, Queensland, Tasmania. There's caravans in every state of Australia, including Canberra. There's none in Northern Territory. So if you're from Northern Territory and want a caravan, send me a message. But we've worked with a bunch of farms. Now some they've just bought a caravan. Some they've just bought some feeders, right through to we've helped them with some of these logos you're seeing right now, some of the logos, branding, the marketing practices, and also farm expansion to sort of add other products into the mix. So we've worked with some of them on various levels, but we've been around for a while, and we've helped quite a few farms. I just got something sent through to me from Choice magazine where they pretty well surveyed as many free range egg farms as they could find, and the ones that were genuine with the 1,500 birds, and then right through to, they had a list of ones that were being investigated by the ACCC, and I was very happy to see on all the ones that comply and they're beautiful, like most of them were farms we've worked with over the past years. And I can let you know there was no farms we've worked with are being investigated at the moment by the ACCC, which is a good thing. And I realise we've got people from outside Australia. The ACCC is pretty well some big auditing body that takes you to court, and if you're doing something stupid, they'll fine you and maybe put you in jail. It's for naughty people. Okay. That's a bit about me. Anyway, getting started with 450 hens. One of the first things you want to do is work out your land area. So it's a question I get asked quite a bit, and sometimes it's been hard to answer because they're like, oh, I've got 30 acres. Is that enough? I've got 50 acres. I've got 20 acres or whatever. Now, if you're watching and you've got 2,000 acres, this isn't as relevant to you as someone with 20 acres. So this is basically how you work out your land area. You draw out your farm, and in this example, I'm using a 16 hectare farm, and it's a perfect square. Wouldn't we love our farm to be a perfect square? It would be a lot easier to do stuff with. But you could probably go on Google Maps or just draw like a topographical view of your farm and work out the size. Now, because it's 16 hectare, just imagine each one of those squares or rectangles is an exact hectare. The first thing you want to do when you might even like cut your farm up just into a grid like this, you want to look at your land and find what's unusable land. So in this example, I'm going to say these particular 4 hectares off to the side, that's unusable. Now, it could be because it's really steep, or it's cliffs, or it's just covered in like big boulder rocks. It's got a creek running through it. It's a rainforest. There's a number of reasons why it's unusable. So I'm just going to say it's scrubby and it's got a bit of a creek running through it. This other hectare, well, that's got a dam on it. It's a big dam. And the other one there, it's got some housing and building. So just bear in mind, it's easy to say, I've got a 16 hectare farm or 20 acres or whatever. then break it down to what's usable. Because if you've got a shearing shed and all your yards that take up a hectare, well, you can't just run chickens in that. Or you don't want them at your back door, 450 chickens. So that there is area that you take out, especially if it's like very, very heavily timbered. It's got like forest and such on it. So after you've worked out that, sort of cross that off. So what we're left with here for this example, I'm saying we've got 10 hectares. So each one of those squares represents a hectare. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut each hectare up into 50 by 50 meter squares. So I'm still doing this on paper. I'm not going out with the tractor and cutting it up with fences or anything, just on paper, 50 by 50 meter square. So I've cut that all up, and we've now got 40 squares that are 50 by 50 square meters. So what you can do now, you can put a chicken caravan 450 in one of those squares. And to do this, I'll show you later, you use electric chicken fence, and you can just literally fence it with a square and put your chickens in there. So if we put the chooks in there 2 days per square, now most people's land will handle 450 chickens for 2 days. Most of them will handle it for like 3 or 4. But I'm just saying 2 days to be conservative. There's not many places where you've got 450 hens on that area after a day and you're like, it's sort of gone. If it's sort of gone, it was probably like that before you started, and you probably just need some rain. But most people in Australia anyway, 450 hens on a 50 meter square is very good. So we've got 40 squares, 2 days each, so that equals 80 days. So what that gives you is an 80-day rest period, and you've actually got your chickens on there for, like, they're in one particular square. So you've got 78 days before they're coming back to it. Now, what is the magic number for rest time? There isn't any, because it differs between every different farm and every different season. But if you've got somewhere between 70 and 90 days, probably a good thing. If you do this calculation and find you've got 34 days, probably not that good. Now, if you've got really high rainfall, you could possibly pull it off, but you're probably not giving your pasture enough break to really recover and come back dynamically. You could do it. You may just have to put them in smaller squares and run them longer. But use this example, and you'll just have to judge your own farm what it can and can't handle. So you can see by this example, we've got 16 hectares. We've cut it down to 10, and we've got sort of a 78-day sort of rest time. So talking about fences now, how to move the fences. So to create these squares I'm talking about, you get 50 meter long fences, and you get 4 of them. So imagine those 4 lines you can see there that we've made a square, that each one of them represents a 50 meter fence, and we've set it up in a square. So you've got your chicken caravan 450 in there, and you got 450 happy hens. And again, this was something I used to get a lot of questions about. They're like, okay, I've got my chooks, I've got my caravan. How do I move them without all the chickens escaping? So what you do here is you just add a couple of fences to the mix. So you've got 4, and we're going to add 3 fences right next door to it. So that gives us 7 fences in total. So we've got a center fence that's dividing that. You turn up with your ute or your tractor or whatever means you use to move the chicken caravan. You drive into this square on the right. and then once you're in there, you close up the fence behind you. Now, it gets pretty easy from here. All you do, you open up that center fence a bit. Now, in most cases, as soon as you open that up, these chooks are like, yeah, there's new grass in here, boom. They're just like plowing through. And if you want to see an example of this, just go to YouTube and type in collecting the eggs. I've got a particular video that shows like, I think it's like 1,500 birds going through. If someone reminds me in the notes, I'll show the video right at the end. Then the chooks come out. You take the ute in, you hook it up to your chicken caravan, and you take the chicken caravan through, and then you disconnect. And you'll find, as I said, most of the chooks will go through straight away, but the others, once you have the chicken caravan in there and their feeders, they've got really no reason to stay in here because they've been in there like a couple of days. They want to explore the new place and grab the bugs and beetles. Then you drive out, you close up that center fence, and then you just take your vehicle out. And then all you do, you pick up these 3 fences, and then you move them over here to repeat the process. That's how you do the fences. The stuff you need. So this is, again, if someone's like, okay, I want to get started, what's the stuff I need? I need some chooks, I need some chook food. What do I need? Well, good thing for you, I've put together a list. So you'll need a chicken caravan 450, 450 hens, 7 fences. So you saw that example where I had 7 fences, fence energizer to power it all. So we just use a solar powered energizer. We find it good because it's movable. If you use a mains energizer like that you plug into your power point, then you've sort of got to run electric fence tape out to your fences all the time. If you go a solar unit, yeah, it's a lot easier. 3 skid feeders to feed your chickens. Some chook food, like when you're first starting, you'll need some chook food on hand, some egg trays, egg crates, your packing shed. You'll need somewhere to pack the eggs and like label them and such. Some egg cartons to put your eggs into. Some licenses. So I've just got up here the New South Wales Food Authority. Now, based on where you are, there will be different compliance. So whether you're in Western Australia or we've got people today like from Italy and Turkey, different countries around the world, there'll be different regulations. Now, I don't know all the regulations. I wish I did. But the thing is, if I do, then they might change them tomorrow. So it's too hard for even me to keep up to date with them. We do try and have some resource links, which I can talk about later, that we can try and direct you to the right place. But it's probably something, if you jump on Google, you can look at what licenses and such. And the other thing, you want a brand or a logo. So you want to sell your eggs. What are you going to call them? So I wanted to break down so someone's like, well, what's this actually going to cost? Well, I've done that for you as well to make it nice and easy. The chicken caravan 450. So we'll go through them here. That's 24,000 for a chicken caravan 450. Your 7 fences are a bit under $3,000. Oh, where are we going? Your energizer, 759. You've got your egg trays, about $300. Some got 4 egg crates, $380. 3 skid feeders, less than $2,000. 450 hens. You'll see later on, I think I've worked that out at $13 each. 5,850. Your grain, now I've just put 600 there. This is just how much you need to start with. So that's not a year's supply of grain. That could just be for a few weeks or the first month or whatever. But I've more just put all the costs. So if you wanted to start tomorrow and you say, what do I need to go shopping for? You're going to need some grain. There's no point all your chooks arriving, you got no grain. Egg cartons, again, I've just put in $500 worth. You're going to want some egg cartons on hand. Your food safety license, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be $500, but just in case it is, by the time you get your license and if they want to do some audits or whatever, put that aside. Packing shed set up. Again, I've put $500. Logo and branding, $500. I've probably been pretty conservative with that. I know a lot of people that have just done their branding just on their home computer. Looks great. Their eggs are selling for top dollar. Awesome. Other people that have spent like a lot more than $500 on branding. It looks great. The eggs are selling awesome. So there's sort of no difference. But yeah, so that's just sort of a list of everything there and just basically what it will cost. So that total there is $38,000, yeah, just under $39,000. Just excuse me. Sorry, I just had to cough. Still hear me? Yep, I'm back. Okay, so I wanted to show you an example here. I've got an egg costing spreadsheet. Basically, we've set up this spreadsheet. It's just an Excel spreadsheet. You could go make your own, but we've sort of made it and tweaked it and such, so all the figures work together and update themselves. So basically, everything in the yellow are things that we change. So I want to show you here how to make more money and what are the things in your business when you start an egg business that are some of the key figures, because we've got everything from feed per ton to your capital equipment to your bird cost. There's a whole bunch in there. And if you've never had an egg farm before, none of them jump out to you to go, oh, that's the one I need to focus on. So I'm just pretty well giving the cheat sheet to say, I'll show you what to focus on. So I've got the figures in here. In another presentation, I could break them all down and explain them all to you, but I'll just cut straight to the chase. So labor rate, I'm just saying we're paying ourselves or someone $25 an hour to do the things on farm. Now they would be labor to care for birds. I'm saying an hour and a half a day. That's out in the paddock, moving fences, collecting eggs. Labor packing per dozen. Now we've built this algorithm in to say, in this example, we're packing 35 dozen an hour. And we've got the production, 80% production with 450 hens. So it all sort of updates itself. So you'll see here. Anyway, in this example, your weekly net income is $312.48. But I'll keep going. Because a lot of people say, well, hang on, I'm going to be doing all the work myself. So what would I earn if I'm not paying wages? So they're doing all the work themselves. So they're getting it all. Just so you're aware, in this example, you'd be getting sort of $724 weekly income from your 450 hens in this example. So it obviously makes a difference if you're doing all the work yourself or if you're outsourcing. But one of the things is good to know, even if you are paying wages, you're still profitable. So it's not a business that the only way it can be profitable is if you do the work yourself. So you still make money there. If you do it yourself, there's a bit more in it. So to put them, side by side, you can see there, $25 an hour labor rate. Do it yourself, your labor rate goes to sort of zero, but that weekly net income, you're sort of taking that home. So if you're looking at if you're looking at it as your own wages, there's your example there. The next important figure to look at is your price per dozen. So if you can see that square there, I've kept the labor rate at $25 an hour, but your price per dozen. So this is what you're selling your eggs for. Now $6 a dozen, that's a real price that you would wholesale your eggs from your farm to a retail store that would then go on and sell them to the customers that come into their retail store or cafe or butcher shop or whatever. $6 a dozen. next thing, if we change this price from $6 a dozen to $7.50, so this price you might be selling direct. You might be selling them at a farmer's market, and $7.50 is probably cheap for a good pastured egg at a farmer's market. But you could be selling them at farmer's market, farm gate, or such. So you've just increased them by $1.50 a dozen. This is the difference it makes, and this is why I show you this. And we've got customers now that are putting in a roadside stall because they've got a bit of traffic going past their front door for this reason. So on the left here, $6 a dozen. Our labor rate's the same, exactly the same. The only thing we've changed is the price we're selling our eggs for. So $6 a dozen, we're wholesaling them into town versus selling all your eggs for $7.50. So you're only getting an extra $1.50 a dozen. Look at this. Your weekly net income from $312 a week, it's doubled, over doubled, $627 a week, just by increasing your price by $1.50 a dozen. Now, we've had a lot of people that have done this, so I'm giving you away some gold here. As you're putting together your business plan, look at if it fits with you. Can you sell some of them at a roadside stall or a percentage of them at the farmer's market? I know some farms, they don't sell any of their eggs to retail stores. They sell them all direct to the end consumer. So if you put these two together, what I just showed you, the labor rate and the price per dozen. So what we're saying is you're doing all the work yourself and you're selling your eggs for $7.50 direct to the consumers. You're looking at a weekly net income of just over $1,000. So we've got price per dozen $7.50. We've made the labor rate 0 just for this example. Weekly net income over $1,000. Any questions? I'll right at the end, I'll go through them all. So if you've got any particular questions, I know some people said the screen quality's a bit blurred. So we should be recording this, so I can shoot you through a recording later. This is a good question. I get asked occasionally, not very often. Why would I get a chicken caravan $450 rather than building my own basic shed with a few plastic buckets as nest boxes? Now, surely, like, is there anyone out there saying, yeah, I was thinking that, like, seriously, the chicken caravan $450, it's $24,000. Is there anyone thinking that? Go, why wouldn't I just build my own? Come on. No one? Yep. Someone said yes. Yes, please. I use this example. We could go into earth moving business and go, okay, we're going to get an excavator and we're going to get a big dump truck. And I go, hang on, earth moving. Get a shovel because it moves earth, and get a wheelbarrow that transports earth. Now, if you look at that, the excavator, it moves soil, the shovel moves soil. Tick, correct. The dump truck, it sort of transports soil, and so does the wheelbarrow. So technically, I could go into earth moving business with a spade and wheelbarrow, but that equipment, I'm probably not going to be that profitable. Why? Because I've got the wrong equipment. So just remember that. So I'll give you an example if you want to build your own chicken shed, because, hey, I started and we made a lot of mistakes, a lot of costly mistakes, and I've seen other people do it as well. So in the example here, this is the example I showed you before, the same spreadsheet, the same $25 a dozen, your price per dozen, $6. your labor packing per dozen with a chicken caravan, you want to be packing about 35 dozen eggs an hour. So because most of your eggs are clean, there's not sort of washing and cleaning involved, you can pack them fairly fast. Labor to care for the birds, about an hour and a half. Because some days you'll go down, they've got food, they've got water, wind in the eggs, 8 minutes later, you're out of there. Like, you're not spending much time at all. So very fast down the paddock. Your capital equipment, now the 30 grand, that's your caravan, plus your fences, plus your skid feeders and that. So yeah, it's a bit over $30,000 there. Okay, let's just say we build our own shed and it's cost us 18 grand because you've got your shed and you've made your own feeders and that. 18 grand. You're spending 2 hours a day, so only half an hour longer down the paddock because it takes a bit longer. But this figure here, packing per dozen, you'll go down to about 12 dozen an hour without a really good system that the eggs roll away, that the hens can't sit there in the nest boxes at night. I know this from experience. This is what it works out to be. So 12 dozen eggs packed every hour, it's 25 seconds an egg. So you pick up an egg, you get a cloth, you wipe it over, 25 seconds later, finish, next egg, go, go, go. So that's what it actually boils down to. This is what it looks like. Now just take a minute and look at this screen. So on the left, we're packing 35 dozen an hour. We're only spending an hour and a half down the paddock. We've outlaid 30 grand, and this is in the spreadsheet, and we're taking like 10 years to pay it off. Over here, we've built a shed for 18 grand. We're spending 10 years to pay it off, but we're only packing 12 dozen an hour, and it's taking us 2 hours in the paddock. That's a loss of nearly $40 a week. $40 a week because you didn't have a good system. Now, what if I could build a shed for $1,000? Because someone might go, well, $18,000, that's still so unrealistic. And I'm like, okay, good question. Capital expenses, $1,000. There you go. You're only losing $6.12. You still lose money. So just think about that. Sometimes you think you're saving money. And I've consulted with a lot of egg farms, and like we've got these sheds, we've built them, we've done our own thing, and I'm like, that's awesome. You look at their spreadsheet, how long you're spending down the paddock. Oh, well, maybe 2. Well, you're probably 3 hours a day. How many eggs you're packing per hour? And they sort of mumble off a figure. You put it all in here. So in this example, we've said we're buying all our capital equipment or building it or doing something. Like, you couldn't do it for $1,000. By the time you put in your labor costs of getting a shed and your feeders and your drinkers and all that capital equipment, you couldn't do it for $1,000. But just for the example, I thought, well, what if it was $1,000? What if it was free? You still lose money. So by not having a good system that you can keep your eggs clean and tend to the birds in a fast and efficient manner, it means losing money. And if you're into losing money, I think you're better off taking up a hobby or something. There's probably more fun things to do that'll cost you $40 a week. This here is dirty eggs. This is not a hobby. But if you don't have a good system, it could be your hobby. This could be you. You could be losing $40 a week and spending hours cleaning these eggs. Now, in the example, I said 25 seconds an egg. So do yourself a favor, count all those trays on your screen and then divide by 30 and then times 25 seconds per egg. And then when you've done that, just realize there's stacks of trays here and all they're dirty as well. And then see how much time that's taken you. I sort of emphasize this point because in the early days, because we didn't have a good system, we were cleaning lots of eggs. And if you're cleaning eggs, you're probably losing money. Now, one of the things that we didn't have when we first developed the chicken caravan were the nesting boxes. They'd go in there, lay their egg, and then when they come in at night, they would sit in the nesting boxes and they would poo all night. And then the very next day, the chooks, the hens would come back in and lay their eggs, and they're just laying it on all this poo that they did. So every egg needed cleaning, and that just took a lot of time and cost a lot of money. And it's not one of those tasks you're like, I'm just going to do it like really quick. Like, it takes the time it takes. It's not something you can do really quick. You can go spend $20,000 for an egg washing machine, import it, or you can just get a good system where you don't have to do that. So just keep that in mind if you're going to start your own egg farm. Or you can be like these people, Gippsland Free Range Eggs. This is just straight from their Facebook. Clean eggs equals no washing, no chemicals, and one happy farmer. There you go. There's a picture looking down the conveyor belt at the eggs, and then trays full of clean eggs. That's what I like to see, because I look at that and I go, awesome. That's going to be really fast to pack them into cartons. Here's another one. No cleaning required, straight from the shed to the grading table. Again, that's what I like to see. Clean eggs. I wanted to, one of the things when I first started the webinar tonight, I said I'm excited for a couple of reasons. One is because I haven't done this particular webinar in like about 11 months, and I think it's just got some really valuable insight. Like, I hope yourself watching this have taken some good notes, and if you're looking at starting an egg farm, you'll know some things to do or not to do. Like, if that's you, I'd love to hear your feedback if you've got some value already out of the content sort of presented. Thank you. I'm getting a few comments in. Yep, good content. Thank you. Okay, awesome. One of the things about over a year ago, we started a members area. So pretty well, it was a website where you'd pay to be a member of, and you'd log in, you'd get access to, you get your login, and in there I'd have training videos of what you do when your hens first arrive and how do you sell your eggs, all this great info. Well, the good thing is we're in the process of totally rebuilding that site, and it's got a feature on it which is a bit of a game changer, but I'm about to tell you about that. But on the membership site, it's closed at the moment, so we're only taking expressions of interest. But some of the things that the training that's included in the members area, if this is something that interests you, I've got training videos on how to get rid of old hens, day-old chicks versus point-of-lay pullets. Like, what should I do? Should I grow them myself, or should I buy pullets in? It's got heaps on marketing. So your website, what should you do on your website? What should it look like? How do I use that as a marketing channel? YouTube, very powerful. This helped us in the early days with transparency, of really getting our brand out there using YouTube. Just this alone is probably worth thousands of dollars to a lot of people. Just this video goes for about 5 minutes and 30 seconds. It's called Should I Sell My Eggs to an Agent? It talks about selling all your eggs to an agent versus selling your eggs to individual stores that then on-sell them. That video alone saves people a lot of money. Leasing land. Some people, you might, at the moment, you might not have your own farm. So you go, I live in town, I need to go find some land. Talks about leasing land, and I refer to some really good resources. The other thing, which it can be good if you do have land, of you might not be using it all, how could you lease that out to other people? Creating an egg business worth selling. This was some training I did, and I got some really good feedback. We don't know what's around the corner we don't know when the day will come when we no longer want to run an egg business for whatever reason. You want to retire or sell the farm. How about you build your egg business today so it's valuable enough so when you've had enough or you want to move or for whatever reason, you've actually got an asset there to sell. Now, this is quite unique in farming because a lot of farms, if you just run beef cattle, unless you're a stud or you do something very unique, you don't normally, in most cases, have a business to sell at the end to say, okay, I'm getting out of beef farming. I want to sell my beef farming operation. Most places, it doesn't work like that. Like the real estate agent, the stock and station agent will go, well, we can sell your cattle or we can sell your farm with the cattle. The sort of not a case of I want to sell my farm with the brand, with the customer list of everything. They're like, no. An egg business is different. And we've had a few clients, they've retired and that, and they've built up a really good brand and a reputation. A lot of things we teach in this to have a good business that's worth money when they do want to sell their business. Guardian animals. What do you do when you've got some eagles or foxes or a few things around? You can get the shotgun out and shoot them, which is sometimes a good thing. But also some guardian animals. Talks about alpacas and Maremma dogs and such in there. Getting rid of old hens. I've got 2 trainings on that. Getting new hens, how to start them right so you don't get eggs on the ground and make sure they're perching in there at night and all those fun things. Facebook, how to use this. We've done this training with a few farmers, and it has literally been a game changer for their business. By using Facebook to market your egg farm, it's brilliant. Because the thing with Facebook, people love pictures. They love a feel-good thing. And it's just so easy with egg farming. And we just go into all the things you can do with that and how to really promote your business with Facebook. So anyway, it's got heaps of training in there. Plus the spreadsheet that you've just been looking at, it's got that in there as well. So you want to get that spreadsheet. All those columns in yellow, you can change them. So you can go, oh, look, the bird cost, it says $13. I'm going to be paying 14. You just put 14 in there. My feed per ton, I only pay 550. So you just put 550 in there. What do you pay for your egg cartons? You might pay 28 cents or 32 cents, whatever. You just put it all in. And before you start, you can say, am I going to be making any money? Now, I think just this on its own, I should probably sell for $500 or $600 just on its own, because the number of people that would have started an egg business and not realized that some of these figures are out and they weren't going to make money from the start. I think $500 would have been well spent for them. But anyway, that's in the members area. You can download that. Plus, this is the big thing. You get forum access to myself, my team, and the other members. So where this is different, this isn't anymore. We did have a website and it had a bunch of training on it. And you're sort of watching the training going, this is interesting. We've spent a couple of months fully redesigning it so it's got a forum on there. I'll be in there, my team will be in there, and there'll be other members in there. So what you can do, you can watch one of the training videos and you go, on point number 2, was he talking ABC or was he more meaning like XYZ? And you're like, oh, I'm not sure. Anyway, I'll find out later. You just type in there, it goes, hey, Daniel, what did you mean by that? Or can you expand on this? ? And myself or or someone from my team or another member to say, hey, I've had that issue too. I did this, that, and the other. And it's the collaboration of getting access to all these people. And it'll be a forum that I sort of log into every day. There's other egg farmers in there from around Australia and around the world. So it's got the functionality so you can create your own profile and put your profile picture. You can even do like your domain name to your egg farm so other people can check that out. You can ask questions in there. You can interact. You can also search. So you're like, oh, I'm having this issue, or I want to know the answer to this. You can just search in there and go, oh, look, someone else has asked that question, and you can read through the thread. So it's got a lot of room for discussion. So it certainly won't feel like you're just in there isolated, just sort of going through the content. We've taken the feedback, and we thought if we can put ourselves in there to answer questions, it'll just give more value to sort of you guys. So it's something, as I said in the beginning, it's not out yet. We're only taking sort of expressions of